Lads, this video did really good, so thank you. So I decided to take that base and chop it in half. We've got a 2x1 perfect expansion, and let's hope it's absolutely perfect for you boys that want to build it around about the solo, duo, trio level of group size. And you already know this base has been tried and tested live by me and my friends on a real server, and I can confirm it was a joy to live out of. No issues for me. Now you guys have seen a little bit of the base and you know it works in action. Let me quickly break down the costs and then you guys can get a full tour and decide if you guys want to build this for your next wipe. That was the full base cost for the tour. Next up is the box amounts, just so you guys know exactly how much materials you need to build the base. And lastly, we have the total upkeep for the base. This can be spread between 3 TCs, and that's going to include 2 external wide gap TCs as well. Alright, let's jump on with the tour of the base. You can see a nice little view of it there, and we're going to head over to one of our external TCs, which of course is a mini Satori disconnectable. And we're using the usual compound kind of connection that I always do. Hopefully you know what that is now. Easy to disconnect and easy to reconnect as well. And then we've got another one of them over there. This base is symmetrical by 2. That's our other external there. Heading into the gatehouse, it is nothing fancy at all. There's windows to look out, there's windows to look in. And if we look up from this point, you can see all the wide gap angles we would have on someone inside of the compound. Compound has got plenty of space for deployables, anything you can think to put inside of here. I've just spammed some random things around. You've got your large furnaces, your oil refinery, and some boxes. Again, we're looking up just to show you guys the wide gapped angles you would have on a raider. And then here we can see where the external TC meets the compound. We've got a nice peek out just to see if anyone's doing anything outside from here. And then we can walk around the base a little bit further and get over to our front door. A couple of windows and a double door lets us into our base. Right away we're into a jump up to our second floor just to keep the first floor a little bit more secure. Above our first jump up is a second jump up to third floor. And then I'll give you guys a long look at all the box space we have in this area here. We've also got a nice sneaky little locker that is hidden behind the 2 vending machines. You can hide this even better using some embrasures. And that one is unlootable by 8 rockets. So I like to store my boom in there when I build this. We can head down the usual 2x1 expansion, leading to our starter base. This would of course be your starting 2x1 with the 2 single door airlocks. And this is the main TC and your upkeep for this base, excluding the 2 externals that are outside. And then we can head back up to our second floor, walk along the corridor one more time, and up to our third floor now. Third floor is all about the bedrooms and some extra deployables you can place up here. We've got a nice bedroom space with 2 lockers available. Obviously this is more targeted at a duo team, but you could build it as a trio as well, just could be a little bit tighter base and box storage wise. Then we're met with 2 jump ups that we have the option of taking, leading into our shooting floor, just to make sure we cannot be held in on a top down. And we've got a sneaky peek up that's underneath the barricade, a nice ankle biter that lets us look into a portion of shooting floor, and it also covers the drop down from the roof. On this floor we've got a nice box set that we can use for depoting from like incoming from a helicopter and stuff like that. You can depot on the roof just like that. And then we'll head out to the wide gap shooting floor, which I'm on now. And you can see all of the wide gap angles we have. It's similar to the 2x2 expansion. Endless angles, and of course we've got our breach peaks as well if the honeycombing or the main base has been breached by rockets. Of course we've got standard windows to look at as well. They're not as exciting as the wide gapped angles. And these wide gaps go all the way around, nice mobility through the shooting floor. You could definitely fit 4 or 5 people in the shooting floor. Definitely one of the strongest points of the base. Above each of the breach peaks we do have some roof peak ups as well. And that stone barricade leads out to our roof exit. We'll go ahead and jump out to the roof exit now, just from on top of the stone barricade. And this is our roof. We guard it by 4 turrets in total, all separated on each corner, and they cover the roof nicely. And then we've got 2 windmills above. They should power everything you need inside the base. And we've got some roof slants off to the sides that should provide some nice angles to raiders below. And over to this side as well, we've got some nice angles that you can use as well. good head glitches for people that are far away. And not to mention our vending machine bunker that is slapped right in the middle. I'll be showing you guys the good technique in order to get this one built without having them be accessible, because a few people are building these wrong and you can still access them, but we got a good technique at the end of this video if you want to watch that. And yeah, vending machine bunkers, selling stuff, or for just storing things as well. 8 rockets to get access to these, or 8 rockets to despawn them as well. And that is the entire base. Hopefully you boys like how it looks. If you do, let's get on and start building the base. Alright boys, let's get building. Of course it's a 2x1, so guess what we're starting out with? A 2x1. You can slap a triangle on any side you want. There's no like direct way you need to build this. Just get an airlock on there. 2 single door airlock, that'll do. And enclose the rest of your 2x1. TC is going to go in the opposite corner of wherever you put your airlock, so you can get a shelf, easy peasy. I'll show you what I mean by that. Get a door frame in there, and of course a roof. Don't forget the airlock roof. People always forget that. Don't forget that, please. Then you get your doors on and make sure you place them so they make an airlock. Now we can come out and start expanding. Obviously, you don't need to do this immediately. Get these 2 triangles down and build a jump up, just like that. And then if you did your TC placement how I said, you can use your jump up to create a half height shelf inside your starter base. Lovely. Get a roof on that side piece there, and let's create a small airlock on the roof. It's not a simple 2-wall airlock. Unfortunately, there are 2 doors. It's going to complicate things a little bit, but not that much. Just enclose the 2 triangles on the right. That can be a loot room or like a furnace spot or something later on. And then your airlock is nice and secure. Slap a roof on this part as well. And the soft side doesn't matter for that wall because there will be a half height triangle inside it later on, but rotate it for just now. And now that our exit is on the roof, we're going to need a way up. So let's come around the opposite side of our airlock. 3 triangles and a square. And we'll build our airlock. 2 windows, 2 double doors. And we're going to comb the starter base. And then add a jump up in between. Just like that. Boom. Place in a couple of floors where we need them. And then we can begin walling in our second floor. Do not forget, there's a window though. Right there. We need to place our vending machines later on. Have that bunker, the whole locker bunker. But we're just going to close that up for just now. Just not to complicate things or anything. Next we can build our 1 triangle, 1 square loot room. With a couple of door frames to separate this floor up. We're going to use this half height triangle to make our loot room, and then our jump up on the right. And then we can add a ceiling on this base apart from where our jump up is. Obviously, don't jump up there. And base is looking kind of weird right now, but we're in the early stages. It's going to look cool. We got some sticky out bit right now, but that's needed. Alright, let's jump inside the base and I'll show you guys the locker placement and the vending machines and stuff like that. I feel like that's the only deployables that could be slightly confusing. Get a shelf in here if you want, or don't. It's completely up to you. If you want more boxes, add a shelf. If you want some furnaces, do furnaces. Anyway, this is the only deployable placement that I could consider being difficult or hard to do. With the locker, you're going to need to do that from inside, so don't have a full inventory on you, just have the locker. And if you've got some spare stuff, put it inside the locker and then F1 kill. Then you'll need your vending machines and you can slap them in front. Might be better off putting the doors down first, but you can get the doors there with the vending machines. And we want a slight gap in between, so we can still access our locker. And you can slap a lock on from there, and everyone can access the code lock from behind the vending machine, so don't worry about that. Or you can lock it beforehand if you want to be safe. Anyway, we're jumping up to the 3rd floor now. Bedroom floor kind of bit. Let's build our airlocks. Do not forget this nice half-height window thing. This is our peek up into shooting floor. Try not to forget that. I feel like that's an easy bit to forget. Above our locker loot room, we're also going to have a spare window here, again for a locker. Or some furnaces or something spare on this floor. Just a spare triangle to use. And then we can add in the walls for our bedroom. Beds are going to go in the middle with a locker on the left and right. Single doors in there, and you can still place those lockers as well. Easy enough, no problems there. Then we can get our frames placed all the way through, and 2 half-height jump ups to the next floor of the base. Triangles in, roof on, and some frames in here as well. Blocks the visibility for raiders who may try and use your peaks against you. That should cover that, along with a window embrasure. Alright, let's jump up to the next floor. And we're going to place in a couple of single doors to exit out. This part's not symmetrical, they're going to go beside each other. And opposite of those will be some windows to look out onto our shooting floor, with a wall in the middle, and a wall on this side as well. Then we can have some doors that enter this area, and we'll wall off this square for a loot room. Boom. And this intersection is a good place to run through when taking heli as well. Keeps you safe from the rockets, and it's nice to maneuver through with all the doors open. Seal up these gaps with some half walls, just finish off these airlock sections. So we have 2 exits out onto our shooting floor now. And the base is still looking pretty weird. We're going to need to even it out now with some honeycombing. I'll throw down all the foundations. Again, you can honeycomb in any order. I'm just building it like this, but you guys will figure it out. The 3 triangles on each side and 2 squares opposite each other, and those are all the foundations for the main base. We'll have some more foundations with the wide gaps, but we're going to raise walls all the way up, and it's pretty standard for like the first 3 sets of honeycombing. And then first floor done, let's do second floor, third floor, easy peasy honeycombing. We're just going to keep going up until we've matched the one side that's weird, basically. And then the base should be looking a lot cooler. And we can add tops on all of this. Alright, so this is where it goes a little bit weird. The squares are going to get a half wall and then a window. I'll fill in the easy parts first, but yeah, just you get a bit of a warning for what's going to happen. Alright, so here's our squares. We're going to do half wall and a window. This creates a nice peak inside of our shooting floor so we can half height look down. And it also allows us to make the roof exit later on. So it is essential, don't forget about it. You want it to be looking like this. That's another thing that's easy to forget, so don't. And it's symmetrical. We're doing it on both sides. Alright, so that's main base basically done. We're going to move on to some external stuff now. So before we move on to the wide gaps, we're going to throw down our gatehouse. This is connected to the main base. I just remove the foundation, do a frame. It chops off a little bit less upkeep, and then your gatehouse isn't disconnected by a soft side. Build whatever gatehouse you want. This one here is nothing fancy at all, but it gets the job done. If you keep it symmetrical, then you can build a compound a lot easier. And we're building another one exactly the same. Removing the foundation and connecting it to the base with a frame. Boom, that's our gatehouse is done. Now it's time for the wide gapping. It's what we need to do to progress. So we're going to do some standard build out first, like that, and then we begin the 2 square wide gap method. There you go, slow it down if you need, but hopefully that was slow enough for you boys to follow. And then we're going to build back in the same pattern. And we should have a nice gap now from our base. And we're just going to follow the pattern that we usually make, creating some missing squares up against the base, if you know what I mean by that. Got some square gaps going on. Boom. Wide gap foundations placed. That's all we're looking for. However, they need to be connected to an external TC, so we're going to do that. Building out 4 squares so we can do our Satori disconnectable. And we can break those squares because we're going to do frames. Double half wall, don't forget that. That's important. Single doors are better on your externals for progression, and it allows your teammates to get them if your teammates are leeches and they don't come on till later on into wipe. Then we're going to build the nice little half wall, low wall thing that I like to use in all my bases. Allows you to peek outside of compound. It's useful. I've used it in game. It's 10 out of 10. Would recommend. And then we join it up 1 square and then 3 frames. There you go. Make sure you place that frame because those foundations are not touching. You need the frame to make it connect to the base. And then we'll place in some more frames along our wide gaps. Just like that. There's more frames to place in, but we'll get to it later on, don't worry. For just now, the foundations won't decay and the external TC is connected. Let's go ahead and do that one more time. Over on this side, we're doing the exact same build out, the exact same connections. Everything's the same, but I'll show you guys again so you're not confused. Alright, that's both sides of the base done. Hopefully you didn't miss me too much. I didn't really have anything else to say in between that. But now we're on to some new stuff, so let's get to work on this. These are going to be where our breach peaks are, so we start off with a frame, then a half wall on top of that frame. And there's 4 of them in total, and they're spread out evenly on the corners of the shooting floor. So we're going to get them like that. And then the other frames are pretty basic, the ones that aren't anywhere near that. These ones just raise up. Simple enough. Then it gets a little different over here. We're going to do a frame and a window, so we can look back in towards our base. This side's normal. And we're back to the breach peaks. And a normal side again. That's how that's meant to be looking. On top of our half walls, we can do more frames, and on top of those frames, we can do windows. Boom. And then floors to stand on off of our frames. And those are our breach peaks, looking cool. Now, we're going to do that again on this side of the base. Exact same stuff. Get your windows in. And your frames in between. And then we just finish it off. Easy peasy. Now that the frames are done and the windows are placed, let's get some floors in the shooting floor. Placing all of our floors off the wide gaps to create our wide gaps. There we go. And the floors are down. Now we get some windows along the perimeter. You can see the shape that we've made with our floors, so you know you've got it right. Windows go all the way through as normal. And the breach peaks, I'm sure you know how to build those into the roof peak ups. In the middle, we're doing a window on top of a window. Very important, do not forget that. And then the breach peaks, 4 of these, but you'll see it 4 times. Each time we're putting our single door to the left hand side. And you'll see I built some triangle roofs. slanted in the way as well. Don't forget them. Those will hide our turret. And there's 4 of these in total. They're all the same. Each time we're putting the single door to the left. Or you can put it to the right, just as long as you do it the same way each time. Looks a lot cooler like that. And we'll do one more of these. Boom. Those are the roof peak ups completed. And now we can move on to getting some frames in the shooting floor. These help with stability. And they separate up the shooting floor nicely as well. If you'd like to put some doors in them, you can. You've got the spare metal frags. You don't mind adding to the upkeep, feel free. That's all the frames in. Now we can get our floors down. And we're going to be placing our floors off of the main base, not the wide gaps. Just like that, you can see the gaps are on the perimeter. Get a couple of frames in here. These are our exits. You'll need that frame later on, so make sure you got that placed. And then we're going to need 2 things in order to create the peak up. We're going to need some sort of electrical component. Just whip out a branch. And you're going to need a stone barricade as well. And it's a lot easier than you think it would be. You just slap a branch on the floor and place the stone barricade on top. And then you can go from underneath. You don't even need to keep the branch there anymore. You just pick it up and it will stay floating. Amazing. And that's going to be our jump up as well to roof. And we'll build another one of them. You can use the same branch each time. And boom, get that placed down. And now we've got our 2 jump ups. Don't forget to pick up your branch. And it makes a nice little peak that you can use. Combine that with an embrasure as well. Don't forget to place that. And then we'll build the roof airlocks. A couple of windows on each side. Half wall to match it up to the right height. Double door to get out. And a roof on top of that. On top of our airlocks, we can add in some windmill towers. I like to go 2 above. However, you can go even higher if you want. Let me grab a windmill and slap it down. Just like that. 2 windmills should cover all the turrets you need inside the base. And once the windmills are down, we'll get some roof slants going along. 2 triangles on the left and right. And then a square one in the middle. Off of our frame. Just like that. Over to this side, it's just 2 triangles. And then we replicate what we already did. And those are all the roof slants for the base. Nice and easy, get those placed down. Lastly, in the middle of our roof, we're going to need to do a nice vending machine bunker. I'll show you guys a great placement in order to get this down. We'll get our roof slant down and then we'll get a triangle, upgrade the triangle, and then we've got a nice gap here. You should be able to get your vending machine tight and close to the wall with a slight angle towards the left. And you should not be able to access that. Can confirm you cannot access it. And we'll do the same technique for the second one. Upgrading, and again we're going to angle it away. Getting these vending machines as close as we can with a slight angle. Making sure that no one can loot them. And boom, that's the perfect placement for these. Make sure you get that right because if you don't, then it's not going to be a very useful vending machine bunker. Also, you need to make sure no one can push in between them. You want a nice gap. And then you can access both your vending machines and sell whatever you want from there. Then you're going to slap a compound down, place your walls however you need. You need 12 walls in total, so keep that in mind. And yeah, hopefully you boys did enjoy the base. Hope to see this base out there on some servers. Seen a lot of 2x1 expansions. This is easy, this is cheap, and this is simple, and it looks good, so I want to see this out there from now on. If you guys did enjoy this video, then please feel free to leave me a like, drop me a comment down below, and please subscribe. I'd very much appreciate it. A lot. Trying to go for that 20k. And I'll see you boys in the next video. Thanks again for watching. See ya.